I'd like to speak about sabbaticals because I had a chance to go through two of them so far, one shorter, one longer. And I figured after some retrospections what are kind of like mistakes in quotes I've made and what things maybe I did good. And there are three things which stand out when it comes to taking extended time off, which I think are worth mentioning because they will end up being the key indicators of how well you can spend the sabbatical or the time you're taking off, and how well you can use the potential of time off for the next steps or your aspirations after it's going towards the end. The first mistake, I believe, is that you're supposed to have a plan. I think that there is nothing like closer to blocking the potential of sabbatical than having like a rigid plan. The only thing you know, most likely, if you're taking extended time off, that your current direction doesn't serve you well, and there needs to be some reflection, and maybe at the end of the sabbatical you want to go slightly different direction, or maybe you just want to refresh perspective on the same direction, but ultimately there is something you want to work on. So having a plan is an antithesis of the value sabbatical can give you, which doesn't mean that you can have a structure or you can kind of plan ahead what kind of the days you would like to have and kind of like try out your new job, like Tim Ferriss is mentioning in his 4-hour work week. But the overall idea is that having a slack in the schedule is definitely super important for reflection and for future endeavors. Second insight is that, or mistake, is that you're supposed to do something extraordinary, something special, something cool, something which looks good on the outside. I think this couldn't be further from truth because the whole key inside here is that what matters most is your perception of how you're spending it. It doesn't matter whether it's in library or in among the trees or at home in front of a computer, trying some things or learning something, or really being on a yacht if that's your dream. So ask yourself really how would you want to truly spend the time off, alongside with the first advice or insight is like not having a plan. So you step aside a little bit to have a chance to reflect, and also along the way you also step aside, like how would you really want to spend it, what would really fulfill you no matter how it looks from the outside. So that's the second one. The third idea is that, or mistake, is that you should achieve something specific. You should produce something at the end. And I think again this couldn't be further from true. That's not supposed to be the main KPI or something you measure yourself against. Rather, the whole idea is again like the clarity of direction. Because if you have the right signpost, if you have the signpost which is aligned with yourself, then going in that direction is gonna be actually easy. The problem is that you do so much activity, you care about how you're perceived, and you try to kind of complete some plan, that you miss the idea of having a signpost in the first place, which is the most important outcome. Because imagine if the sign points even like 1 degree of angle outside of where you truly want to go, that eventually if you go long enough it will be far away from your true calling or something which you really want to do. So the lesson learned here, or the main insight, is really that the combination of reflecting, not planning at all costs everything, really thinking about how you want to spend it yourself, and not really creating some specific outcomes, tasks, or products at the end. Rather, really be more reflective and see where you would like to go once it ends, or once you have a chance to actually execute, is much more valuable in the long term. So those are the 3 points I wanted to share with you. Hope you find it useful. Thank you very much, and speak to you next time. Cheers.